Join me today as we talk about a BattleTech Sourcebook, Tamar Rising. Welcome to the Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bob, and today we're going to be talking about a BattleTech Sourcebook, which thus far I haven't really covered any of these. This one is Tamar Rising. This is the first of the books set in the Ill Clan era. I say first, arguably the Ill Clan Sourcebook is, but it's the battle for Terra. This is like the fallout. This is like how life goes on elsewhere. I don't actually own the Ill Clan book yet, so I'm going to go through the three of these. The other two are Empire Alone and Dominions Divided. Once I read through them, and there's a few older books, the First Succession War, Operation Klondike, and the War of Reaving. Those are pretty good source books. So that's not just me saying that. It's a lot of people in the forums agree those are some of the best. So for those of you who watch my other BattleTech videos, you've probably seen the BattleTech book reviews that I've done recently for the Elements of Treason novels. And the two of those, along with the third one that I haven't got to yet, cover this area of space, which is now known as the Hinterlands, but was the Jade Falcon occupation zone next to the Lyran Commonwealth. And this book covers the various other factions that are now cropping up there and trying to take over these worlds because the Jade Falcons are gone. You know, they took everything they could to go to Terra to try to beat Clan Wolf. And you have to watch my review of the Hour of the Wolf to figure out how that turned out, just in case the title doesn't give it away. So the Hell's Horses try to make some moves in here. They're one of the other clans. The Lyran Commonwealth finds themselves in a situation where they really can't, but several rogue factions that originate from within the Lyran Commonwealth definitely make a move. The books I covered talk about two of them. The titular Tamar here, the new Tamar Pact has been formed by a former general from the Lyran Commonwealth. And then there's the Vesper Marches, which has been formed by Duke Vedette Brewer. That's covered in the second book that I reviewed. And I'll put links to these down in the description in case you didn't catch them and you want to know what the hell I'm talking about here. The third book, I believe, covers Clan Hell's Horses, which, again, I haven't read it yet, so I haven't done a review of it yet. But this book takes more of a clinical view of things. You know, these people came here and they fought these people, and it gives you a little bit of a blow-by-blow and some of the big events, and then tells you who won and some of the aftermath. And so it talks about the formation of the two groups I already mentioned, the rebirth of the Grey Death Legion is discussed in here. That's one of the mercenary units, one of the more well-known ones from the old school BattleTech. And that's also kind of a fallout from the Tamar Pact situation. Then it talks about the Kellhounds trying to rebuild, and they retake Ark Royal and basically tell the Archon that no, they're not rejoining the Lyran Commonwealth either. The Hell's Horses take some areas. There's a crime syndicate known as the Malthus Syndicate that has nothing to do with the Malthus blood name from the Jade Falcons. So nothing to do with famed mech warrior Nikolai Malthus of the animated series. They're operating everywhere trying to infiltrate. And then there are two different Jade Falcon factions. One is led by G.E. Chistu. I really got to write that name down. I don't remember if it's Chitsu or Chistu. I'm going to say Chistu for the moment. Hopefully I'm right. Who has declared himself the new Khan of the Jade Falcons, which, if I recall the end of Hour of the Wolf, that will actually be Stephanie Chistu, as the Ilkhan decreed. But we'll see how that turns out when those two finally meet. But GE has been doing everything he can to collect machines and men and women to fight and hold off the aggressions of the Hell's Horses. So he talks about some of his early efforts in going to Sudaten and trying to reclaim the capital world and hold it and everything else. But it doesn't help that one of the Jade Falcon merchant factors, who handled the clan's banking essentially, and created what amount to treasure ships to trade with the other clans, decides that screw following the warrior caste ever again. We're going to become essentially a banking mercantile clan with her at the top. But she knows she needs an army, and she's largely hiring mercenaries at the moment. So the first half of the book covers all these events and takes you up to like 3152 and where things stand. Then it has profiles on the major characters, the Trillion Steiner for the art for the Lyrans, the Khan, the Saw Khan for the Hell's Horses, Vedette Brewer, Sarah Regis, I believe, is the lady in charge of the Tamar Pact. I can't think of the merchant factor's name. It's Ravana, something like that. I'll check here real quick. But I'll show off some of the artwork here. Kalendra Kell for the Kellhounds. Then Morena, that's her name. And so when it gets to this point, you've got, hopefully you guys can see these, pictures of the various characters and little blurbs about them, overviews for the factions, the new Tamar Pact and a couple of units for the factions. Then it talks about the worlds that the important worlds that they control. Then there are some scenarios and other kind of rules annex. So we have scenarios, abilities, just the various things to use these random assignment tables for the different factions. That's to roll to see what kind of forces a random group of them would have. Battle mechs, vehicles, etc. And a lot of it comes down to that. Now, I haven't been playing a whole lot, so I can't tell you a whole lot about the rules part in the back. But that's just looking at it, it's a lot of what it is. There is a map to this, which I have, but I could not find anywhere. So once I do find it, I'll maybe get some pictures of it and put it aside. But there are kind of maps here, the star maps here in the back. So hopefully I'll be able to find that soon, because it's a really nice map. I don't want to lose it, but I misplaced it somewhere. But yeah, like I said, this area is now known as the Hinterlands, and there are some products coming up related to this. So we'll see how those go. And yeah, this like I said, just kind of explains this general area at the moment. How things got there from the end of the Battle on Terra to now, 3152. And it covers it a little differently than the novels do. You get the picture from the novels. This is, the whole picture. The novels kind of flesh out certain parts, but this is the whole picture. And like I said, there's two other books like this. Empire alone covers the Wolf Empire on the other side of the Lyrian Commonwealth, along the border with House Merrick. And then Dominions Divided covers the Draconis Combine and the Ghost Bear Dominion. So, talk about those as soon as I get done with them, and we'll bring up some of the older ones that I've talked about a couple times. But that's about all I've got to say on this one. Overall, I like the book. It's very informative. I do think, as a product, I think Wars of Reaving and Operation Klondike are superior, but they are two of the best products they've ever put out. So, if you don't compare favorably to, I don't know, like grade A filet mignon, like, it doesn't mean you're a bad steak. It just means you weren't the best. So, whatever that's worth. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not. You guys let me know down in the comments. Always appreciate you like, share, subscribe. If you can't find this book at your local game store, I believe you should be able to find it at some place like Miniature Market. I believe has it. I think they've got a lot of the BattleTech books. If you go on the Catalyst website, it'll probably be the PDF. I don't know if they actually sell hard copies to their website or if it's just PDFs. But they would have it at a convention, potentially, depending on how far back they're going to bring books. But anyway, like I said, let me know in the comments what you think. You want to hear about the other books? Hopefully you do, because I'm going to talk about them. But anyway, like, share, subscribe if you like what you heard. And just remember, no guts, no galaxy.